Hi everyone, we're at the top of the hour, so we're just going to give it another minute so we can give people a chance to log in, and we'll start in another minute or two. Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Fekeci, and I'm the Director of Communications and Outreach here at GuideStar. So I'm very excited to welcome you all to today's crash course on how to earn a bronze seal of transparency in no time. Today you'll learn in just a few minutes of your time how it can save you hours down the road. But before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to go over logistics. So since this is more of a work session rather than a webinar, we're here to help answer any questions you may have about updating your nonprofit profile and earning the seals of transparency. So feel free to send any and all questions that you have. And in order to do so, you just submit questions through GoToWebinar. Look over to the control panel off to the side of your screen and you'll see a questions box there. So you can just type it in and send away. But if you only see the questions header and not the full box, then you just select the arrow to the left and it will kind of drop down into an overall questions box. So we'll be answering your questions both in the chat as well as at the end with a Q&A. So feel free to submit them as they come to you. And of course, one of the #1 questions that we always get and that I'm already seeing come in, we will be recording this and slides will be emailed out after the presentation. So let's go ahead and get to know our coaches. I'm very excited to be joined here today by Jasmine Marrow and Madeline Kardos. Jasmine is GuideStar's Director of Nonprofit Strategy, and Madeline's our Marketing and Communications Associate. And together, they have helped hundreds of nonprofits claim and update their profiles and really know all the best tips and tricks. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Jasmine, to get us started.
Thanks so much, Jackie. I'm really excited to share with you all how to get to bronze, and Madeline is going to talk more about that. So here's just a quick overview of what we'll talk about today. I want to share with you what your nonprofit profile is, why it matters, what you can do with it. Madeline is going to demonstrate to you how to claim your profile and earn your bronze seal, and chat with you more about how to move beyond that into some of the other seals of transparency. And then we've saved a big chunk of time at the end for questions, so be sure to keep those coming in. So first, let's just chat about your nonprofit profile overall. This is a quick screen grab of what your GuideStar nonprofit profile is. It appears on the GuideStar website, and as we'll talk about in a ton of other places, but it moves beyond the 990 and gives your organization more depth and character and the richness and fullness of your story. It's also a record, it's of a documented record. So let's just talk a bit about how data and information flow through GuideStar. So GuideStar is the world's largest information source on nonprofit information, and we get our information from a ton of sources. So nonprofits themselves, foundations, donors, experts in the sector, and more. And so we take all that information, we aggregate it, and we share it out to folks who visit our website, and then also through our partners and through their channels. And one thing I want to point out is that you're able to collect donations not only through many of our partner organizations, which we'll talk about in a bit, but there's also a space for stakeholders to donate directly on your GuideStar nonprofit profile. And so you're able to enable that donation button as soon as you get a bronze or higher seal of transparency, and that'll show up right on your profile. And Madeline is going to talk a bit more about how to enable that and what that means, but it's a great place to capture donors as they are thinking about your work on the GuideStar profile. So let's just talk a bit about how this information is flowing through GuideStar overall. And I want to introduce you to Walter. So Walter represents 100,000 folks who can see this information on your GuideStar profile and in other places. He represents 100,000 individuals who are donors, who are funders, who are nonprofits, researchers, journalists, all wanting to be better informed. And so on guidestar.org, through our visitors, there are many, many Walters. So you get a ton of better informed nonprofit information seekers. So funders, journalists, nonprofits. And so that is 9 million folks who are looking at your information. And so, of course, we've got the GuideStar profile, but we also have over 200 partners. And the information that flows not just through our partners, but also through their channels. And so Walter and his buddies get even larger. So this is just a couple of folks who are our partners who I want to point out to you. So we have Facebook and CrowdRise. We also have over 20 community foundations, lots of workplace giving platforms, lots of ways that folks are engaging in your data, and that philanthropy is powered through GuideStar. So you can see that Walter and all of the Walters that exist are amplified even more. So it's already a ton through GuideStar, and there are even more via the GuideStar data partners. And so this is tens of millions of folks who are better informed and are having a look at your data and information on a daily basis. And so I just want to talk a bit about some of our partners. So there's lots of different ways that GuideStar powers philanthropy on other search engines and other ways of giving. So you can see we've got circled just the spaces that your GuideStar information shows up in other places. So on CrowdRise, on the Fidelity charitable site, which is where high net worth donors use an informed giver to help them kind of think through their work. And also on Amazon Smile, on Capital One, you can see a lot of these examples. So I want to dive deeply into what your information looks like on Amazon Smile. So to date, over $62 million have been donated to charities through the Amazon Smile platform. It's a really great way to use a kind of passive fundraising stream for your work. And so I've got these two clips here. The bottom right, you can see that this is an example of an organization. So no matter what, through GuideStar, you show up on Amazon Smile, but you can show up in a way that makes your information really appealing and gives more data about your work, or you can show up relatively minimally. So this top section, this Walk Oakland, Bike Oakland, I live in Oakland, so I wanted to highlight something that's close to home. You can see that there's a ton more information. There's their mission statement, their categories, the programs that they work on. So you can get a lot more insight into their work, as opposed to this bottom right section that's just their location and that the categories in which they show up in, their NTE codes. So it's a little more sparse, a little more minimal. And so when folks are deciding where their Amazon Smile dollars are going to go, it's great to have this more robust information. So I also want to highlight our partnership with Facebook. Facebook has an online donation platform where your information shows up so that you can be connected to not only this fundraising page, but also there's a link back to your GuideStar nonprofit profile. And we know from our experience that a ton of folks click this, and lots of people kind of are doing that extra mile of research as they're thinking about the ways that they do their giving. So I want to dive deeply into one example. You may have heard recently about the nonprofit that's based out of Texas that raised millions of dollars through their Facebook fundraising platform. So a couple, not even the organization itself, although this is available to do through the organization or as an individual on behalf of an organization, started to raise money for psoriasis. And it was an over-the-top success. This viral fundraising campaign. These are just a couple of headlines that we clipped. So a couple was hoping to just raise $1,500, and they ended up raising over $15 million. So this is from the Washington Post, from the Texas Tribune, from Money Magazine, and you can see that this was a huge success. And part of that was being able to offer information from a variety of sources, not just the idea that your peers are giving, but also that they're giving to a verified, trusted source. And you can go to GuideStar and look that organization up and see more about them. And so I've got really great news for you. No matter what, it's very likely that you already have a GuideStar profile. And so what I want to talk to you about is just how you flush that profile out, how you go from just having your 990 be available to really kind of sharing more of your story. So your GuideStar profile can look like this picture on the left, which more or less says there's more information needed here, or it can look like this picture on the right, which is this full and robust view of the work that you do. So I've been doing some research just around what are the barriers for giving and what are the ways that people could be encouraged to do more giving. And this bit of data comes from the Fidelity Charitable recent report called Overcoming Barriers to Giving. And they asked the simple question, what would cause our high net worth donors to give more money? And they asked these folks. And so the first one is, if there were greater tax deductible pieces of their donation, if they had more money themselves, which isn't something we can do a lot about, but we can do a lot about these second examples, the second and third. So greater insight into the impact of their giving and new and different ways to engage in philanthropy. So this greater insight is, tell me more about what you're doing, what your programs are, where the money is going, who you're impacting, and new and different ways to engage. That's, I want to give on your website, and I also want to give in other ways. I want to do point of sale giving. I want to do giving at my workplace, those types of things. So making it more interesting and more convenient to give. And what's really exciting about that third data point is that this isn't taking away from the pool of money that people give in traditional ways. It instead is adding to the pool of money that people are willing to give if they're so moved. And so I want to just take a minute to show you more of the anatomy of a GuideStar profile. So this is the space where you get to see in-depth information about your financials. And so it's really graphically represented. It makes sure to kind of capture people and tell more of your full story. There's also your operations section. So this is a space where you can share the demographics of your staff and board, where you can share more of your board leadership practices and your board chair, things like that, and your employees over time. And then lastly, there's the platinum section. So this is really focused around bronze, but know that that's available to you. And this is where you can share your progress and results year over year and share what you're tracking to know that you're on track. And that really speaks directly to that idea of giving donors more insight into the impact that they're having into your work. So just a really quick overview of our seals of transparency. So they are bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, and they do work connectedly. So in order to earn platinum, you need to earn bronze, silver, and gold first. So the bronze seal is really kind of your basic information so that you can be found, and when folks find you, so that you can be understood. What are your programs? What's your contact information? Those kinds of things. Next is your financial information. And so of course there's your 990, but this is also to make that information more up to date and more robust. And this is to build trust so that folks understand that you're being transparent. Then there's gold, and that's where you're going to talk about your goals and your strategies and tell more about your work. You can think of that sort of as your a theory of change, or that sort of thing. And then lastly, there's platinum. And so that's talking about how you measure your progress and your results, and you can show the difference that you're making in real time and over time. And so I want to do a quick poll just to understand what you're excited about when you start to think about your profile. And so we'll just give that a couple of minutes to come in. And Madeline's going to go ahead and close that whenever you're ready. And let's take a look at the results. So it looks like a lot of folks are really excited about what they can do to enhance their appearance online. So what does it mean to be appearing in lots of different online fundraising platforms in even more detail and even more robust? So it's really great to know, and we'll make sure that we think about answering those types of questions and thinking about that in the demo. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Madeline, who's going to share more about how to get to bronze and how to move beyond that.
Great. Thanks so much, Jasmine. There we are. So I'm going to move us to the next section here. Now that you know how to claim, now you know where all your information flows once you update your profile, we're going to show you how to, first of all, claim your profile and then earn a bronze seal. Okay, so as Jasmine said, the great thing is you guys most likely already have a profile on GuideStar. So how do you gain access to it? It's a fairly easy process. Just make sure you have your organization's employer identification number, or your EIN, on hand. That would be really easy. So here's the first step. If you don't already have an account with GuideStar, you're going to go ahead and create one by going to www.guidestar.org and clicking that top right-hand button, Create Account. You'll be prompted to fill out a few web forms, and then you'll be on your way. If you already have an account with GuideStar, all you have to do is just click Sign In, also located on our homepage, and to the right of the Create Account button. So a best practice when going through this process is, if you don't have an account with us and you're creating one for the first time, you want to use the email associated with your organization. So for example, I am Madeline Kardos, my organization is GuideStar. I would use my email, madelinekardos@guidestar.org. And you actually be approved instantly, which is really fun. So that is one tip. Okay, step 2 is to find your organization, either using your organization's name, EIN, or headquarters. Then you're going to get an email. All you have to do is make sure that you verify your email address. So check your email for a link to confirm your account. All right, so once you've verified your email address and you've clicked that link to confirm your account, you're going to see this web page. So you've got two options here. You can either click the update link or the update nonprofit profile link you'll see at the top of the web page here. And kind of a fun fact, the update nonprofit profile link is at the top of all of our web pages. So you can always click that when you're ready to update your profile. So you're going to click either of those. This will take you to step 4. All you have to do here is click that blue Get Started Now button. Okay, this is the final step. So once you find your organization, a web form such as this one will appear on your screen. All you have to do is fill in the required fields, just as your name, your email address, your website, and then check off those boxes at the bottom, the terms and conditions. Then you'll be ready to click Submit Request at the bottom of the page. So if you created your account with the email address associated with your organization, you'll be instantly approved. If not, and don't worry, if you do have a Gmail or a Yahoo account, that is no problem. Our amazing stakeholder support team is going to approve your request within 1 to 2 business days. And then you'll see, the email in your inbox, and you can verify from there. Okay, before we move on, I want to show you guys, we do have a video tutorial on this, so I know we went through this pretty quickly, so don't worry. We will be sending these slides at the conclusion of this webinar, so you can always come back here, click this link, take a look through that video in case you were confused at all. A couple of final notes here is, number one, you can add as many managers to your profile as you'd like. There is no limit. In fact, it's something we highly recommend. And number two, if for some reason you're not seeing an email from us, you've gone through this whole process, you haven't seen your confirmation link, check your spam folder. Sometimes it gets routed there, and give that a check to make sure. All right. So what we're going to do now is head into a live demo. So we just went through how to claim your profile, and then once you've claimed your profile, you have access to your profile. You can start updating immediately. So what I'm going to show you today is how to earn a bronze seal and add a donate button to your profile. So what I'm going to do is jump into that right now. Okay, so the very first step is to go to GuideStar.org and make sure that you sign in. So you're going to go up here. It's on the top right-hand side. If you can see your own name, it means you're already signed in. You are good to go. Then from there, you're going to click Update Nonprofit Profile. And like I said, you can find this anywhere on our site. So whenever you're ready to update your profile, all you have to do is click that button. We'll let it load. We'll let it think. There we go. Okay. If you see this screen and it has your organization name, you're good. You're approved, you're in our system, and you are ready to start editing. So there are 2 ways you can get into a profile. You can either click your organization's name or edit form, and that will jump you straight into our system. All right. So what you're seeing now is our summary page. It kind of opens up automatically, and let me give you some quick navigational tips before we launch into how to earn the bronze seal. So what you're going to see is, first of all, your organization name. So we're actually looking at GuideStar's own profile. So you're going to see GuideStar here. And then this progress bar. So bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. This is a really great way to see where you're at in terms of earning a seal transparency. So for example, if you're at 26% of bronze, it's going to show you. So then you can, oh my gosh, I've got some fields to complete here. You will know just by looking at this. And then another brief note, I know Jasmine did mention this earlier, but in order to get to the platinum seal, these are, kind of like a step system. Bronze, silver, and gold all have to be 100% complete in order to earn platinum. So just a brief note on that when you are using your progress bar to check your status. Okay, so the rest of your summary page, what can I do for you? So the very first thing you're going to see here is your seal level. So if you're curious what your seal level is, you'll see it here, as well as right next to your organization name. Another cool feature is assigning profile managers. So like I said, you can add as many profile managers as you'd like to your profile. So, if you want Frank in finance to come and help you out, Kathy from programs, you can add them now that you have access. So you have complete control. And in fact, we also recommend adding a general email address such as info@yournonprofit.org. That way no one gets locked out of your account if there's any, if everyone's sick for a week or you have any turnover, things of that sort. Last but not least is donation reporting. So yes, we're going to go through how to add a donate button to your profile, but do know that we do have reporting available once you have your button, and it is at the bottom of your summary page here. So donation reporting to review and track all the donations your organization has received through your profile. All right, that is the summary page. What we're going to do now is jump right into bronze. So In order to edit your profile, you're going to use this kind of mini menu, this drop-down navigation on the left-hand side. So we're going to click bronze, and then we're going to click names and contacts. This is the very first field. We're going to let it load for a moment. Okay, you're going to notice that each level has a variety of data that you can add to your profile. So what it's going to do is personalize it and, make sure it goes above and beyond the bare minimum that's available through your 990. So for bronze, all we're looking at here is basic information so that your organization can be found. And don't worry, we're actually going to go section by section and discuss each different piece of information that you're going to need. But in total, it's about a dozen data elements, and it takes about 15 minutes to complete. You have pretty much all this information already on hand. In fact, if you go to your website, all of it's there. So it's pretty easy to transfer over into the bronze seal. Okay, I'm going to get started here. So the very first thing to realize is required fields. So in order to earn a bronze seal, you have to make sure that all of the required fields are filled out. These are marked by this little red asterisk next to each field. So our organization name, GuideStar USA, our EIN, right here. Now you're also going to see there are some optional fields. They do not have a red asterisk, but it might be worth putting. So for example, if your organization is known as something else, an acronym, a phrase, etc., you're going to want to put that so that people can search for you and they can find you each time they look for you. So for example, people know us as GuideStar, not GuideStar USA. So we're going to want to go ahead and put GuideStar. Okay, moving on now. Who is your primary contact? So if someone were to contact you out of the blue, who would you want this email to go to? This could be your executive director, or in our case, it is our very own Miss Jackie Enterline Fekeci, who is on the call with us today. Okay, then we have an optional section. This is who is your fundraising contact. Now, if it's different than your primary contact, you're going to want to specify that. So for example, if someone were to send you a check, who should it go to? In our case, we would want it to go to the lovely Erin DeSandro. All right, addresses. So pretty simple section here. We're just looking for your main mailing address. So you're going to go ahead and put that in, of course. It can only be a United States address here for your main mailing address. If for some reason that is not your physical address, you have the option of adding one. If it's the same, you can just quickly check this little box, same as main address. And in fact, for ours, it is the same. If you have an international address, you can list that as well. And then finally, we have your organization's main phone number and fax number, which I do highly recommend you add, even though it's optional. And if for some reason, you have an international phone number that you need people to call. Okay. Going into founding information. So this is asking, when was your organization founded or dissolved? Now, this first option here, we actually pull straight from the IRS, so you can't edit it. But the two things you can edit are year founded and year of incorporation. You also have the options, ooh, I jumped. Okay, sorry about that. You have the option of uploading a letter of determination or a letter of dissolution if you desire. This is optional, but it is there for you. Okay, donation information, and this is really important, particularly because we're talking about donating through your profile here. We need the legal name of your organization. This is to make sure we don't mix you up, or make sure our partners don't mix you up with any other organization, as well as your EIN and your payment address. So, for example, if your payment address is different than your main address, you're definitely going to want to put that. If it's the same, you can just check this box. And this will help all of our partners route donations accordingly and a lot more efficiently than they have before. All right, leadership and staff. So the very first thing we're looking at here is who leads your organization. We're asking for either your CEO, your president, executive director, perhaps this is the pastor of your church. So we're looking for their first and last name, their title. If you want, you can put their email. We've actually done a general email address, info@guidestar.org, so you can do that as well. And this is fun, it's kind of a new feature. You can add their LinkedIn profile so people can learn more about them through their LinkedIn. And of course, I know this is optional, I highly recommend it. You can also add a short biography. So we're looking at maybe like a paragraph here, just so people can get a little context, because what's going to show on your profile is their name, and that's it. So this would add a little paragraph next to their name so people can learn more about them right as they see their name. Okay, you have an option for a co-leader, so if you have one, you can go ahead and enter that information. We do not, so we have checked this box that we do not have a co-leader. And you can enter in the names and titles of any other staff members at your organization. For us, we put our full leadership team, so all of our senior staff. This is optional, but of course, you can do this if you desire. The more information, the better. Board members. All we really need to see here is who chairs your board. We want their first and last name and the company or organization that they work for. You can also do the term start and end date if you desire. If you have a board co-chair, you can add that as well. And then who is on your board? You can actually list your entire board, which is also really great to see instead of just your chair. All right. Now, I know a lot of you inputted into the poll that you really want to boost how your organization looks on our partner sites like Amazon Smile, on Facebook. So this is a really important section. First of all, logos. Logos are very important because it's a picture, pictures are 1,000 words. So you want to make sure that you have your logo here. And this does get sent to a lot of our partners. You can see here, Google, Amazon Smile, and PayPal are all receiving your logo. One note, you do want to be careful with these requirements here. Take a look at this size. It has to be pretty small, and the resolution does have to be pretty good. So please make sure if you're having an upload error, you have looked at these requirements and you are following them. Okay, if you don't have a logo, it is not the end of the world. We do have an option for you to just click this box and say, nope, my organization does not have a logo. Same here, tagline, slogan, and website. These are extremely important to include, but if you do not have one, you can always click no tagline, no website. Yet again, you definitely want to fill these out because these do go to our partners, and it basically gives your organization context pretty quickly as well as a way to contact you. Okay, in that vein, your mission statement is also very important. So for this, we're just looking for a brief mission statement. We're looking for 1 to 2 sentences at the very most. And this is really what shows up on Amazon Smile, on Facebook. What Jasmine was showing you is this is one of the key pieces of information that shows up. So you definitely want to put this and make sure, of course, that everything's spelled right and it looks good, etc. Programs and maps. So this basically shows what you do day to day. And as you saw on Amazon Smile, it lists the names of each program. So this will help distinguish your organization on our partner site. So if there are a lot of churches in your area and you want to make sure that people are donating to the right church, this is the perfect thing to fill out. So all that we really require here is one program. One program, but we do recommend you do your top 3 to 5 programs. If you have more than that, let's say you've got 20 programs, first of all, good on you. Second of all, we don't need you to list them all. We just need your top 3 to 5, otherwise it kind of gets a bit crazy. So let me quickly show you what that looks like. I'm going to edit one of our programs here so you can see the back end. We're going to look for your program name, a very brief description. We're only looking for about a paragraph, maybe 2, keep them really short, and a target population served. 1 for sure. If you have a second one, you can go ahead and add that as well, and then a budget. Now the budget is optional, but I will admit a lot of funders do like to see this information so they can see exactly how much money is going into each program. Okay, now this is the really fun part. This is the new feature that we just added, but you can now identify the exact geographic areas that your program serves. So we have this new feature where you can select up to 5 areas. This includes counties, cities, states, and then on the international level, countries. Okay. It's a lot, So for example, I'm from San Francisco. I would put San Francisco, California, and then it would pinpoint it. Here you go. I actually have to remove this because this is our own profile, but you would enter that information and then you'd go down here and click add this program. That will save everything that you've completed on this page and make it visible. Now, a quick note on this select up to 5 areas. If you serve more than 5, let's say counties, for example, you want to go with the larger area. So in that case, you would just say city. If you serve more than 5 cities, go ahead and put state, etc. So add this program. That will save all of your information. We're going to scroll through here. You can see we have our top 3 to 5 programs listed with kind of brief paragraphs for each one. Now, going down here, this will always say add a program. So you can keep adding as many as you like, but don't be fooled. This will always be here ready and waiting for you to add a program. Okay, the very last section here is categorization. So taking a look here, keywords. We want to know if someone were to, let's say, Google your organization, what 5 to 6 words would they be typing? That's exactly what we want to see here. So for GuideStar, we have charitable giving, data-driven decisions, nonprofits, transparency, nonprofit sector. Last but not least is the NTEE code. This is a self-reported code, so you get to choose this. You can't choose wrong here, about how to categorize your organization. So we are looking for, first of all, a primary code. It's going to be very general. So ours is philanthropy, volunteerism, and grant making, and then a subcode, which is a little more specific. If you feel like your organization applies to more than just one category, you can choose a second and third code and subcode, respectively. Okay, whew, that is the entire bronze seal. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, I have all this information, I can do this right now, but you can. Just remember, once you've inputted all of this good stuff, you want to click save. Save all of your good work. It's always at the bottom of the web page. You're going to click save. The system's going to thank you. And that saves all of it in our system. But that is not the final step. The final step, each time you're updating your profile, is to go up here to confirm and publish. What we're going to do here is basically confirm you've made all these changes and then publish them to your profile. Now, don't think this is a one and done deal. You can confirm and publish as many times as you need to. So this is what you're going to do. Under program terms, you're going to check off all 3 boxes. You know, I certify this is accurate and up to date. I represent this organization. I accept the terms of use. Now, this is the fun part, and this is how you add your donate button. So if you don't have a donate button, you're only going to have one option here. It's going to be, do you want to receive donations through our partners? You're going to toggle this on to say, you know, toggle it on, so it's blue. Once you earn a bronze seal, you then have the option to add a donate button to your profile. So this is exactly where you're going to find it. So what you're going to do is you're going to come on in here, you're going to click this little button, you're going to toggle it on. So both of these need to be blue, both of these need to say on, and then you'll have a donate button on your profile, which is really great. Last, final step here is you're going to click publish now. It's going to confirm, you know, here you go, this is the exact seal you're going to get. You're going to say yes, publish now. All right, a brief note on publishing. It takes a little bit of time for all that information that you've inputted to show up on the profile. So please give it about 24 hours. You're going to see this here to fully appear on your profile. That's because we're sending this information to a lot of different places. We're sending it to Amazon Smile. We're sending it to Facebook. So give your profile a moment here. Don't freak out completely if you're not seeing some stuff. Come back, check the next day. Look at your own profile, then you'll see what is there. Now, we just went through bronze, we just went through how to add a donate button, but we're actually not done yet. There's a couple things I want to show you guys that's beyond bronze. So I'm going to head back into the profile here. I clicked Update Nonprofit Profile. I'm going to click Edit Form, get back into the system. Okay, so we just went through bronze, but I want you guys to know there are a lot of other seals that you can earn as well. So very, very briefly, just so you understand, I think I did see a comment here about how do I get from, you know, silver to gold, gold to platinum. I'm going to briefly tell you exactly what you need, but I'm not going to go in depth. Okay, so the very first one is silver. Silver is about basic financial information so that you can grow trust with your audience. And all we're looking for here is either an audited financial statement or basic financial information that you can get from your Form 990. So grab either an audit, you can either have one or your most recent Form 990, and you can fill out this section. And I mean, I've seen people do this in 5 minutes. It's very, very easy. Okay, now we're going to take a look at gold. So gold is a very simple section to complete. It's based on these 5 charting impact questions developed by Independent Sector, BBB-Wise Giving Alliance, and GuideStar. So there are 5 short answer questions. Don't freak out. I know everyone thinks, short answer, they think back to testing. It's not that bad. You already have this information. So grab a recent grant application, grab any strategic planning documents, perhaps an appeal to donors. All of those types of documents are exactly what you need to fill out these sections. So when I scroll through here, and we're not going to spend too much time, how do you summarize the problem or need your organization is working to address? What is your organization aiming to accomplish? And we're not looking for too much here. We're looking for 2 to 3 very short paragraphs. So what you want to do is basically take all of those other documents, smush all that information into this section, and you'll be good to go. All right, last but not least is Platinum. Platinum is all about key results, sharing your key results year to year. So this can really show the difference that you're making. Now for Platinum, you only need 1 metric to get Platinum. So 1 metric with 2017 data. We actually recommend doing your top 3 to 5. So that top 3 to 5 is coming back here. Top 3 to 5 metrics with 3 to 5 years worth of data for each one. So you can see here, we have at least 3 years worth of data, which shows a really good trend. It shows we are increasing the number of organizations that you can find on GuideStar, which is fantastic to see. You can also add a quick note. You can tie it to a program and a target population. So Platinum is really great. It's my favorite section. It's very fun to complete. So please know, once you're done with bronze, take a look at the other seals. They're fantastic, and we always recommend that you go all the way to the highest seal. It does increase how you show up on our search. The higher the seal, the more you'll be seen. People like seeing organizations who are at the highest level. Now, don't forget, we do have some optional sections. So bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, these all have required fields. You have to do this in order to earn the seal. These sections are optional. And while they're optional, they're still amazing to fill out, and let me tell you why. So the first one here is social media. You can connect your profile to other websites. You can add your social media usernames, and you can upload photos and videos of your organization. So this really personalizes your profile, it really gives it a face. So I highly recommend taking a look at this section. Then we have demographics. This is asking about who works for you, the demographics of your own organization, which is just another way to be transparent about your own nonprofit. Then we have board practices. This is 6 yes or no questions based on how your board operates. And then we have additional documents. So we have an annual report if you have one, if you want to show that. IRS documents. So if you want to upload your own Form 990, this is exactly where you do it. Any certifications, any other sort of document like a strategic plan, or perhaps a note from your nonprofit. So those are all the optional sections we have for you. Please keep them in mind when you are updating. Last but not least, we have benefits and rewards. Once you earn a seal of transparency, you get benefits that come with it. The best benefit is having images of the seal that you can put on your website, and you're going to find that by going to the GuideStar participation, logo, and widget. The other thing that we provide you is the outreach toolkit. This has more images of the seal, plus sample press releases, already drafted social media posts, sample newsletters, email articles, etc. So please, once you've earned a seal, you can come on in here and get an image of it and share it, far and wide. Okay, so we've just gone through a lot here. What I'm going to do is take you back to our PowerPoint. Here we go. So it is a lot of information. I actually took notes for you, and I've created slides on each seal. So if you were frantically writing all of this down, don't worry, I do have tips and a quick guide on how to add the donate button to your profile. So we do have this, and yet again, we are going to be sending these slides out after this webinar is complete, so you will have this for your own use. Now, there is something I want to show you guys. We do have a handout. If you look in your handout section in your little GoToWebinar dashboard, that has all of the fields, required to earn a seal. So please feel free to download this handout so that you have it. We're also going to be sending it after the webinar in our follow-up email as well. Okay, now this is a little, confusing here. We actually already did Beyond Bronze. We just did that section. These are just the quick notes that I typed up for you guys on silver, gold, and platinum. And of course, we cannot forget about our optional sections, adding pictures, forms, and other figures. All right, we are now going to take your questions. Jackie?
Thanks so much, Madeline. So we've seen a ton of great questions coming in. So I'm going to start from the top with some of the basics about claiming and then kind of work our way through the seals, and feel free to keep submitting them as they come to your mind. So one of my favorite questions actually is, how much does updating cost? Madeline, you want to take this one?
Yeah, thanks, Jackie. So updating is completely free. Completely free. It does not cost you anything. It just takes a bit of time.
Perfect. And then to claim a profile, what do you do if you don't have an email address associated with your organization?
Is that to me as well, Jackie?
Either one, but sure, take it.
Okay, and let me show you guys our faces while we're answering these questions. There you go. So if you don't have an email address associated with your organization, it's no problem. What we're going to do is you're going to go through that same process, and our stakeholder support team will manually approve you. So what they do is they basically, look at your email, make sure you are who you say you are, and then you'll see a confirmation email from us within 1 to 2 business days.
Perfect. So we've received a lot of questions about donations, specifically asking about how they receive donations from Amazon Smile or Facebook fundraisers. Jasmine, do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So first I should say that your profile is automatically sent to Amazon Smile and Facebook. So there's no need to do something special. And that extra information that I showed that shows up in your Amazon Smile profile and your Facebook profile, those will just happen. So the more information you have populating your profile, the more will show up there. And they each have their own donation processing platforms. And so usually that comes to you in the form of a check directly from their donation processing centers. So you'll be able to see those as they come in. There's no need to do like an extra sign-in sort of bit.
Mm-hmm. And what are the fees associated if they wanted to add a donate button on their GuideStar nonprofit profile?
Yeah, I can take this one. Yeah, this is Madeline. So we are using our partner Network for Good, and while GuideStar does not we don't take any fee, we waive any fee associated with the donate button. Network for Good does have a processing fee of, I believe, 4.75%, which is less than our previous donation processor.
And there's actually another Amazon Smile question for you, Jasmine. So does the information getting sent to Facebook and Amazon Smile only go after achieving a bronze seal of transparency, or does it go before?
That's a great question. So it goes before you achieve a bronze seal of transparency. The reason that we recommend that you do is because more information will be shared there. So those two separate clips that I showed, one is before that person reached bronze, before that organization reached bronze, and you can see that it's very sparse. And so we really want to encourage you to add more, not because it enables the donations, but because it encourages folks to donate when they know more about you.
Perfect. And actually, a couple people are asking for a little bit more clarification around our partnerships like Facebook and Amazon Smile and the over 200 other ones that we have. Can you chat a little bit more about those, Jasmine?
Sure, I'm happy to. So GuideStar powers the philanthropy of, like I said, 200 plus organizations. And so what that means is for different organizations, as they're checking in to see if a nonprofit is legitimate, as their donors want to find out more about the organizations that they're giving to, GuideStar provides that information directly from your profile. So when Madeline was demonstrating those two toggle buttons, that other one is to make sure that you can receive donations from those other partners. And so what you'll do is make sure that that's open and available, and then that information, without you doing a lot of extra work, travels directly to those partners. What's really great about that is not only does it enable donations, but it also enables really quick, easy updates. So let's say you change your name or your address, that's going to go out to all of our partners as well. So any of the philanthropy and the individual and organizational donations that they do are going to be filtered through that updated information.
Perfect. And then how would you go about viewing your donation history through your nonprofit profile? So if you've added a donate button, how can you see who's already given through that?
Okay, so I can take that one.
Oh, share this really easily on her screen.
Yeah, let me show you. All right, everyone, you're not going to see our faces for a moment. So when you're in your profile, the way to see your current donation reporting is to go to your summary page, scroll all the way down, and then click this little update button. Here we go. And what this will do is it will take you to Network for Good. Oh, doesn't like me. There we go. Oop, I'm sorry. This will show you past donation history. Sorry about that. For current ones, if you click Update Nonprofit Profile, here we go. Here it is. This is what likes me. So this is donation reporting prior to August 20th. So we did just switch donation processors. This is how you'll see all of your donations there. Currently, if you just get a donate button now and you are looking for donations now and onwards, you're going to click this second link, which will take you to Network for Good's website. And all you have to do is create an account with them, and then you can find all of your donation history from here.
Great.
Those mittens. Little mittens.
So we've actually received a lot of questions about bronze, of course. So just to fire it off, and Madeline, you might want to stay in demo mode for some of these.
Oh, okay. Let me.
Example, there's been a lot of questions around changing a name. So whether we've just changed our name and we want to introduce our new name through a marketing campaign, or we go by a couple different names, how would they display it on their profile?
That's a really good question. So let me, and you can see me navigating here. I'm in our profile. I've gone to bronze and I've clicked names and contacts. So this is the very first section here. This is what you're going to be using. So the main name that your organization is known by, I would put as organization name. And then if you have like an acronym, for example, I would put this also known as doing business as. And keep in mind, this name registered with the IRS, this is not editable. This is for our own records. It's not going to show up on your profile. This is the main one that shows up on your profile. And then this is kind of the smaller, tinier one beneath it. Hopefully that answers your guys' questions.
And I'll just add, as far as multiple names go, you can see here that GuideStar used to be known as Philanthropic Research, and so you can also see that we have that one added. And if you'd like to add more, there's that box just below Philanthropic Research where you'll be able to add another.
Thanks, Jasmine. That was a good comment.
So I think we typically get these questions around, how do you know which NTE code to select? Do you have any advice, Jasmine?
Sure. So first of all, I'll say that your NTE code is not binding. So you can enter what you entered when you signed up as an organization, but you don't have to. And we offer a couple so that you can think about it in a few different ways. So the NTE codes, there's this drop-down menu, and that'll give you your overarching topics. So arts and culture, education, mental health, etc. And then you can, once you click that bigger overarching topic, you can start to look into the subcodes, and they will have narrowed down once you click that, and you can see some of those more specific things like advocacy, or once you click health, then they'll show you lots of different sorts of health organizations. It's relatively intuitive. I'd say just kind of think about overarching what you do. So if you do oceans, you want to look at environment, that kind of thing, and then you'll be good to go from there.
Great, thank you. And so a couple users have noted that their progress bar is either at 75% or they don't have a seal of transparency with 2018. Can you talk us through how to earn the most current and up-to-date seal? Madeline, you want to take that one?
Yeah. So if for some reason, and sorry if you guys get a little seasick as I scroll up here, if bronze is, at this 75%, 96%, you want to make sure that all of these new fields are filled out. So each year we are always constantly updating the standard at which our profile functions on. So that basically means we're updating the fields that we have in our system to make them better. So for example, this past year we added donation information so that we can route all of your donations more efficiently and quickly. So double check that all of this information is added. In particular, check your programs and maps. So we did add this new map. So make sure that each of your programs has a geographic area served associated with it. If for some reason, you've done all of this, everything is in there. We do have an amazing stakeholder support team. You can email them at support@guidestar.org and they can help pinpoint exactly what's up.
Another quick note, so if you're going through this for the first time and you click save or next and you haven't completed all of the required fields, you'll get a little pop-up that says, hey, are you sure? And that's another great double check to make sure that you've hit everything.
Mm-hmm. And actually, so some of our users are pretty confident that they at least used to have a seal of transparency, but they're not seeing it on their profile. So they're thinking maybe it disappeared. Jasmine, can you speak to why that may have happened?
Sure. So in order to make sure that the seal of transparency really signals that you're continuing to have up-to-date information, the seal of transparency does expire. So you need to come back at minimum every 2 years to complete it, but we really recommend that you come back annually. So now our seals of transparency do have a year on them. So you want to come back each year and make sure that you're earning the most up-to-date seal. So if you did this a while back and it's disappeared, that's very likely why.
Perfect. And I'm also seeing some attendees have even higher than bronze seals of transparency. So a couple questions regarding the silver seal. What do you do if you don't have an audited financial statement?
Okay, I can take this one. So you do not need an audited statement. All you need is your basic financial information. If you have a Form 990, that's perfect. All you need to do is look at literally the first 2 pages and all the information will be there. You'll just report, your total revenue, total expenses, assets, and liabilities. That's all we're really looking for. Yeah.
Perfect. And Madeline, can you also just provide a few tips for those who have questions about wanting to move on to gold and platinum, but it may look a little daunting?
Yeah, so what I actually first recommend is checking out our step-by-step guides. Let me go here in the GuideStar community. We have tips and tricks for each of these sections. So particularly gold and particularly platinum. We have a pretty thorough guide for platinum. What I recommend is gathering all your information together and then sitting down and updating, because it might feel a little overwhelming. But for gold, you want to look for grant application, you want to look for strategic planning documents, those sorts of things. For platinum, look for your annual report. Look at externally facing materials such as your website or perhaps a pamphlet, and those will have all the information that you need. So you already have this information, you just need to find it and then enter it in the format that we've provided.
Perfect, thank you. So looking at the time, we only have time for about 1 or 2 more questions, and I have them right here. One of the attendees mentioned they don't have a nonprofit profile because they're brand new. How can they get registered? Jasmine, do you want to take that?
Oh, sorry.
Sure. So you want to email our support team, so support@guidestar.org, And you can also go through the community first. And so pick which type of organization that you are. So let's say you just got your letter of determination, or you're a church. There's lots of different types of organizations that can be listed on GuideStar that just aren't yet. So you'll want to go to that section. Madeline has just shared a link on how to get listed, and that'll give you the information of what types of documents you want to provide to our support team, and then they're happy to guide you through the rest.
Perfect. And then for the final question, a couple different attendees asked, how do I get an image of my seal of transparency to add to my website? Madeline, can you guide us to the outreach toolkit?
Yes, I will do that very, very briefly. So to get to the outreach toolkit, you're going to click benefits and rewards within your profile. There we go. We'll let this load for a second here. And it's going to be at the very bottom here. So outreach toolkit, and you're going to say get the toolkit. And then it's going to open up for you.
Perfect. And it has some social media copy and the widget, right? So you can add the widget code to your website, and that way it links back to your nonprofit profile. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's under the GuideStar participation logo and widget.
Fantastic. So unfortunately, that is all the time we have for questions today, and we really want to thank everybody for joining us. Make sure to keep an eye on your inbox for both the recording of this presentation as well as the slides. And then we hope that you can join us on September 19th for a great webinar that we're doing with Facebook on tools for giving season and really how to leverage Facebook for your nonprofit. So thanks again, everyone, for your time, and we hope to see you there.